So, small county. We don't have caseload information here, but we have where we're at in the heart of Michigan. Around 200 people. Our IT department is a total of 3. And we became an OnBase customer and an ImageSoft customer in 2010. The need for change. We were in a pretty new courthouse. I believe we moved in 2001, I think. But we were still running out of space for files. The lack of misplaced files, the lack of accountability, where are the files, it just wasn't effective. I think basically this is standard pro. I'm preaching to the choir here on this one. This is our Clinton County front of the court file room. And we didn't take pictures of the before. We didn't think to. This is the after. But these are still being scanned. We're still catching up. The room was horrible. All of our front of the court rooms were stacks of files on the floor. Our clerk's office wasn't that bad, but they still, were running out of room. We kind of took a look at OnBase, and this was before I was on the team, vitally on the team. I was kind of peripheral. And we decided that we need in IT, we need to get a hold of document imaging, get a hold of this whole process so that we didn't have a bunch of silos of different programs with different document imaging systems that we had to manage with 3 people managing, 15 different imaging programs. So we looked at it and we took a look at one that we could customize. So that's the programming aspect of OnBase that we needed to take advantage of and leverage so that we could customize it for our personnel department, for our accounting department if need be, for our different courts. So one size never fits all, but we felt this was the best that we could do. We're using workflow, electronic signatures. We've got several phases as we're moving out. Phase 1 was FOC and the clerk and their judges. And the reason why we started with FOC was the funding. The FOC, the front of the court funding, to get us going on that. So that was a big push. We have went live with our probate court. And then we're going to shift gears huge, and we're going to go into drain department. That's our next phase. Yeah, yeah. I'm just getting used to the jargon in the courts, being an IT person. And now I'm going to find out about drains. So it will be drastic. To get off the ball, to get rolling, we looked at other people, at references, other bids that were put out there. We selected ImageSoft as our vendor. Like I said, we started with front of the court clerk and the judges. It wasn't 1, 2, and 3. It was all 3 together. And there's our pricing. We used our 4D matching. We did site visits. Went to Jackson County. Genesee County was huge. Katrina was there at the time. Getting to understand what a document catalog is and those kind of things. Visits were vital. I mean, I am so not. Which brain is art? Which side is art and which side is logical? Yeah, one of the two. Whatever is art and you can picture things in your head really well, I didn't get that side. Put it in numbers, let me see it in writing, and I can see it. So I had to see hands-on demos. I'm not good at visualizing. I have to see it, even if I draw the silly picture myself. And then I can understand it. I don't know what that is. But anyhow, visits were vital. We did our kickoff in July 2010. We went to OnBase admin training and workflow training. Our document catalog was huge, and I know everyone who did them would love to do them again if they had time, but nobody has time to redo them. But that's huge. Your document catalog it's like this Bible kind of thing. And then we also went around the clerks. They helped us going around the clerk's office and taking a look, where do documents go? Why do they go that way? How can we make it more efficient? Here are our screenshots of our document catalogs, columns. We happen to put these out on a share. So if someone needs to make a change, and I have copies back where they can't see them, but somebody needs to make a change, they make a change there, and they said they made a change. They highlight in the color. I take it, make a change to OnBase. And then I put a little check mark that I did it and when I did it. So this is kind of our, I mean, I know it's not very fancy as far as workflow change and, you know, change management. We went low tech. Excel spreadsheets. They shoot me an email saying, you know, fix these things or change these things or add this document. So low tech. We did back file scanning. I didn't do anything with back file scanning. Clinton County did back file scanning. They prepped the files, the departments did. And back file scanning, doing that, we did that ahead of time before we even put workflow, even got it off the ball rolling. And that was really good to dip their toes into it. Because if you're comfortable with back file scanning, you're comfortable with OnBase, you feel good before you dive into workflow. So that was, I think, a good move for us. I don't know if it would work everywhere. Even if you intend to send the bulk of your files out, I would still do back file scanning. Just in case you run into some little area where, oh, we don't need to send this chunk of files out. We want to do this ourselves. And it got some of the operators really comfortable with it. I would have your the people who are going to do your live scanning, I would have them do your back file scanning. Start easy. You know, it's just a back file scan. It's just old business. I know it's vital. I'm not downplaying it, but it's not going to be part of workflow. It's just old business. It's going to sit there, and you're going to retrieve it. Let's see. To get off rolling, to make things easier, we for our back filing, we did a search in MySeas and GIS and got all of our case numbers, and I made mailing labels with a word mail merge. I mean, talk about low tech. I just did them in case file order. So every single case we had, printed them out on labels. Yeah, I ruined some labels and we lost some labels and we didn't use some labels, but they were all there. Just one big mail merge, you know, pile like this thick. And then as they came to a new file, they just grabbed the right one, slapped it on there, and scanned it in. So we went very low tech, but it was accurate. You know, no typing involved because I just sucked it onto one program and threw it in a mail merge. FLC, I'm not sure if this is quite accurate. I just did a search on the app to find out. I think they've got their back filing done through back through 2005, and the clerks are in the 1990s. They're going back even faster. We separated documents into groups, and you can read. I'm not going to read that to you. Those are the groups that we backfiled them in. So you don't have a single doc type in backfile. We have in FLC, we have those 5, and in the clerks, we have those 4. You do want to think about public access as you're doing your backfiling, because if we get to the point, when we put these out to the public, we'll want to be able to easily hold back anything confidential. So those are the categories you want to keep in mind even when you're backfiling. That's probably the most important thing to keep in mind. We did our user acceptance testing, the UAT, one of the first acronyms. I had to say, what's UAT? User acceptance testing, we started in 2010. We did a test plan of what we were going to do. UAT training happened with the very core users, and that just means that this is how you are going to test the product. So the person, which was ImageSoft, who did our workflow in the first place, and then me, who took a look at it and implemented it and got the test documents in, we're training the people, okay, now you're going to walk these documents through. Yes, they're dummy documents, but you're going to walk them through the system. So if it has to go from the clerk's office to, I'll do the right way, from the FLC office to the judge to be signed and then to the clerk's office to be recorded, each of those players had to take their own step. And a lot with the judges, we would just do the judge's part. You know, I signed for the judge a whole lot. We all signed for the judge a whole lot in user acceptance testing. But we moved the documents through just like they were live. Took us about a couple months. We did we didn't hit our mark because the holidays fell right in there. You know, that was a silly time to put a mark. Yeah, 2 months or a month, no problem. Well, when you get people off and vacations and holidays and all that, we were a couple months longer. And we did train the trainer, so we trained in-house. Before we went live, I gave our clerks two magnets and asked them to just kind of display them for me. What kind of day are you having? And one said, keep calm and carry on, and the other magnet said, freak out and break things. And I'm really glad to say I never once walked into their office when this one was displayed. In fact, I don't even know where it is now. The other one's out permanently. So we try to keep it light. You know, it's not worth getting upset about. Even though we're all high intense and really care about our data, people are more important. We just recently did a document shredding, a secure document shredding, and I can't guarantee that these are FOC files in there, but I'm pretty sure you guys sent a bunch down, right? Yeah. So we just do these big bins, and a company comes in and shreds them and verifies that it's secure. So we are shipping documents out by the truckload, honestly, because of OnBase. The values that we got out of this. Improved efficiency. Our bench warrant process, you know, it moves right along. A bench warrant can be issued in a fraction of the time that it was before. Modifications to documents. Order processing. When I first saw that, we're not ordering anything, but I had to put the Courts app back on orders as in a court order processing. We maintain all of our codes and routing rules. We have our workflow. I don't know if there are other models where, well, I assume if ImageSoft and OnBase are hosting, there might be another model, but I don't know. We're hosting everything. We own it all. It's all in-house. And we can make modifications. When we get in too deep, which happens at least once a month, we get too deep, we give them a call. You know, this is not working. This document went poof. And I know the techs just love my vernacular, even though I'm IT. It went poof. Well, no, it didn't go poof. Well, I know it didn't go poof, but we're not finding it where it's supposed to be, so that's poof. The accountability is great. Going into a document and seeing the history of it, who touched it last, and what'd you do with it? Well, history shows that you deleted it right here. I can find it and delete it, and I can see who deleted it and when. You know, in the paper world, if they just decided to, oops, toss it in their shredder, you know, there's no accountability for that. The shredder doesn't say, oh, Terry did it, Terry did it. Now the system does, telling Terry and myself, you know. And I heard in the last session that 13, there's going to be accountability for workflow configuration changes. So I can tell on myself, you know, you did this on this date. No, I didn't. Couldn't have. I wouldn't have done something that dumb. So now I'm going to be talking to myself. Crazy. The accessibility is wonderful. The friend of the court can access their related documents in the clerk's office without running down 2 sets of stairs and then running back up. Now, our health, the group of people that want to keep us well and fit, they're not happy with this because people are no longer running up and down stairs, but yeah, time, efficiency. We brought probate on, a lot of probate cases associated with friend of the court. They can now access those documents, and the rules are set up. And we have to tweak them. We're still tweaking some of the probate stuff. We had to pull some out and put them in their own little category because it just wasn't working. But you know, to be able to access things right at your desk, it's wonderful. This is a very clean clerk's office. Actually, honestly, her office was always this neat, but there were more piles before with files. But this is in our clerk's office, and you know, you're not losing things, you're not misplacing things. Piles aren't sliding off. Yeah, that's my desk. Piles slide off. So I have no idea how I'm doing time. I should have made sure there was a clock in here. Let's see. Phase 2, we're heading into probate court. Our probate court is, again, you know, there might be smaller in the state, but our probate court office has 4 people. So you can't get much smaller than that. How big are you? 3. Okay, not much smaller. So you got a judge and 2 staff, right? You do have a judge. Okay, good. I think that's required. The solution integrates right in, like I said, with FOC. So FOC, already on board, already set with it. We just kind of like a deck of cards. We just kind of shuffled the probate documents in with their other documents. The whole solution there was about $51,000, much less than that scary number that I didn't even say out loud on the other screen. And the reason being is that a lot of our hardware and such was in place. You know, we added some licensings. We added a high-speed scanner, and then we contracted them out to help us with the workflow. We went to Ottawa County. Our future plans, we got our, should have sent Steve an update. We use the GIS company, or GIS organization. They're not a company. What are you? We use GIS. there we go, for our case management. And it was NextGen, and then it went to MICS, and now it's My Courts as of just not too long ago, right, that you changed the name. We've got our sandbox that we're playing in right now for our circuit court, and our next step is to integrate in OnBase to work with that, and real excited to see that happening. And then again, the natural next step will be our juvenile court. I'm going to take a step back and work on Drain a little bit, but they're not going to have workflow. But then we're going to bring our juvenile court in. We're looking at e-filing. Maybe will, maybe won't. And then we need to expand into the case type support to get district court coming on board, the civil and criminal, and go forward with that. So that's where we're at. Lessons learned. Site visits were vital. Like I said, I need to see it in action. So after this, if you still think we've done a good job or we're interested, we'd be happy to have you visit us. Clinton County's just north of this county. Or we can show you some things, you know, share our document catalog, those things. I always learn when I share with people, you know. You may say, well, why'd you do it this way? Oh, I don't know, because we've always done it that way. And then I go, you never say that. You always look for change. You know, I get on other people for doing that. So learning, sharing, collaborating is great. We needed staff buy-in. Our judges were on board with this. So from the top down, and that's where I say the top was, and my boss isn't here, so I can say that. So the judges from the top down, and of course the IT director from him to me too. OnBase training, we took it prior to completing discovery. It's one of those, I'd like to take it before, I'd like to take it during, I'd like to take it after, because I'd learn in different spots. But I think it is important. Probably the visit's more important, but I think the training is really important also. Like I said, it worked really well for us to start early on internal backfiling. We just got comfortably without being anxious about it or being pressured to do our backfiling. It was just so casual, and they just got used to OnBase at a very low pace. And then once we had some backfiles in there, we could train them on retrieval and those kind of things in their actual documents. When I make dummy documents, they look like an IT dummy document. That's not an order. That's a document that says order. You know, this piece of paper that says order. And I always like order to order pizza was my, and you know, the clerks look at me like, you gotta take this more seriously, like that. They look at me like that. But I didn't know. I mean, luckily I was not versed in the court system before this. I had no personal reason to be, so that's a good thing. Let's see. The team is important, you know, working with ImageSoft, Highland, and Clinton County. And really, because ImageSoft is a good partner, I don't interact with Highland other than its product is there. But I think we've called in, ImageSoft has called in Highland like maybe half a dozen times in total. So we haven't personally gone to that route, but obviously we'd have nothing without Highland. So, you know, ImageSoft and us wouldn't have a relationship without Highland. So the importance of the team is huge. You know, everybody knows that one. And there's our seal and my contact information if you want more information, want to see a site visit, want our document catalog. I just asked somebody else for their document catalog for juvenile court, so that we'll be using that.